Hello and welcome. I am your host of What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Author Karen E. Osborne. I have five novels out. The latest is Justice for Emerson. I am so glad that you're here. This is a space for readers and writers to come together and talk about books. So today we get to meet Stella. She is a prolific published author, and she uses fiction to explore life's challenges, like me, right? You guys know that's what I do. And she likes to do it with surprises and grace and humor. And today she's come to talk to us about A Widow and a Friend. Her is that your first novel, Stella?
This is my first fiction novel. I
Yes.
do a little bit of everything, but this is my first fiction novel.
Yeah. Excellent. So let's start with what did you love about your writing journey the most? I asked you that some question I asked you and you said, "Oh, but I'm always working on a project, always." So
Right.
what do you enjoy what do you enjoy most about your writing journey?
I think I like everything about it. I like creating. It's therapeutic, as you know. You like to write as well, so it's very therapeutic. There's also a challenge to be able to what's in your head to get it out on paper and express it, and hopefully the reader or readers get what you meant. They get exactly the sentiment that you're trying to inflict. So it's challenging in that way, it's a challenge that I love. I love it. I love doing it, and I challenge myself. As I mentioned, I've written my memoir. I've done nonfiction. I've done a little journey of when I did a walk in the Camino through Spain. But a Widow and a Friend is my first fiction novel. So part of that was the challenge of, can I write a novel? And I loved it. And as I was writing, you think about it for a while, and then when you get the story together, it's what you think. However, as I'm writing it, my characters become like you feel the characters, and you kind of get stuff added in that you didn't anticipate because the,
'Cause they're real, right? They could take you almost anywhere.
I think we have a freeze. I missed something. The connection froze.
Yes, we did have a little freeze. So what I was just saying, you were telling me that your characters take you different places and that happens all the time, doesn't it? They're
Yes,
real,
yes,
breathing people, and in your
yes,
head you thought this was going to happen, but they say
yes.
no, no, no.
Correct.
That's where I'm
As the
going.
story goes, this character, Tina Mason, the main character here, she comes to life, and as a woman, part of her womanhood gets stirred as well as she's grieving, and all this friendship is going on, and that's kind of the twist in the story. Um,
Well, let's
because
let's start there. Let's start there.
okay,
Give us the setting and the premise,
okay,
the period. Just give us a
okay.
little background about the book.
basic Basically it's kind of current day, right? And Tina Mason, the main character, her and her husband have been married happily for 36 years. They're in their 60s. Okay. He dies suddenly. Great people. They have an adult daughter. He passes away suddenly. Um, and at his funeral, the day of his funeral, she's home just, falling apart, the whole ugly cry, just sitting in his rocking chair, just kind of letting it all go and whatever. And there's a knock at the door. Who She's like, who could that be? And she's, in her grief, in the moment, and she looks out the window to see, who's at my door at 7 p.m. at night, right? Who's just at my door? And I just had my husband's funeral, right? So she sees the silhouette of someone who they know, a family friend, an old friend of hers, and he's got flowers in his hand. And just knock at the door. She goes to open the door, saying, "Oh, you can send the flowers to the funeral home where I can take them or whatever. And these aren't just funeral flowers; these are roses, and they're for you. So that is the stir of the where it all opens, and it begins from there. So it opens with this knock, her crying, and the knock at the door,
And the
and
roses.
the roses,
Hmm,
and
very intriguing. Yes,
mm-hmm.
yes. So what do you love about Tina as a person? And what do you hope that she learns over the course
I
of the
I
book?
I like Tina because she's relatable to most women. I think she's a very relatable woman. She loved her husband. She loved her family, and she's torn with when this person is presented at her door. They're also the same age, and they knew each other back in college, right? But their lives have gone. She went ahead and got married. He went and did his life and got married. And this full circle moment happens when her husband dies, and he says, "Hey, look, we're in our 60s. We're not getting any younger." And this death has affected me as well. And I say, well, let's just go to Paris and let's leave like tomorrow. This is the
Whoa.
night of her husband's funeral. So, yeah, and he just kind of lays everything out on the line of, I know that he offers her friendship, is what he offers her. Friendship and a way of grieving through this friendship. I know you loved your husband. I know that was real. I am never and not going to try and change that, but you don't have to grieve this way. You don't have to just only be here, only be sad. Loss is hard. It's agony. It's all of that. And what he's saying is, you can do that, but I don't want to do that, and I don't want to see you go through that. I am your friend.
Wow. Wow.
And
That's a big
our friendship doesn't have to undo anything from yesterday. It doesn't have to undo any of your love for your husband. We can still be friends and move and go do this experience. And neither of them had ever taken a trip. So
mm, that is so intriguing.
it's interesting. It's a
Yes.
paradigm shift from the typical common of you're grieving, you're just wallowing in this agony and devastation, right? That's kind of common grief and sadness. You lose your loved spouse for 30 some odd years. So for someone to come along and challenge that paradigm, she has to kind of really dig deep and think, do I go? Do I not? What do I do? How am I honoring and being faithful and loving, presenting that for my lost
Yeah.
husband? And I run off with some other man to some trip.
And what are my kids gonna say? That'd be one of my
Exactly.
thoughts.
All of that. All of that. What will everyone say? What will my daughter say? Our daughter, who's pregnant with
Yes.
twins, who is pregnant with twins. Um, what will
That would
everybody? How
be
does this look?
big.
I am not this loose woman. That is not who I am. Yet there's this
Yeah,
challenge
yeah,
in
that
front of
is
her.
very cool. So well, what inspired this? Why did what was the inspiration here? Did you
It's not my personal story. Let me just confess that. It is a fiction story, but I'm in my 60s and I've seen a couple of my girlfriends who have lost their spouses along life's journey. Life be life in, and sometimes unfortunate things happen. And I just had this thought that, who's to say what time is appropriate for any other person? Who's to say you grieve for 1 minute versus 10 years versus forever? Who's to say what's right for you? Right. And so I think it kind of stirred from that thought. So that's kind of where it was born. And I thought about the story for a while, and I finally put the pen to paper, as we say, and I typed it up. And as I was typing it and it was coming out, I had an idea, and I had my idea of the beginning, the middle, and the end. And at first, I wrote it where the knock at the door, and I let a couple of my girlfriends, who are also mature women, I let them read it, and they came back to me, and they're like, I need to know what happens after this knock. I need you to finish this. I need you to keep going. I can't not know what does she do? What does she do? So I had to finish it, and so I had to kind of like tap into Tina's spirit of who I believe she was as the character, um, and go from
Yeah.
there. And I really liked it myself. So it was like they said, you left me with a cliffhanger. I need to know. I need to know. So because it was
What makes
originally
good
going to be book one, book
storytelling,
two, but it's
right?
a good story. It's a good story. It
That's what
actually,
makes,
when you read it, I feel like it's more of a screenplay personally, but then I wrote it, so I have a bit of a bias. But I feel like when you read it, the story of it all comes. It comes like a movie in your head, like a two-part series where that it maybe the first part of it stops with that knock at the door. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then everybody's like, "Oh my God, who's at the door?" And then they kind of go through
yeah,
the second part.
I'm ready for the movie, girl. I am ready for the movie. Do you have a copy of the book handy so we can see the beautiful? I love this
Of
cover.
course I do. Can you see that? I don't know exactly
It's
where.
blurring because of your blurred background.
Tell me where to go.
There, good, good, good. Now just lift it up straight. Just straight up, 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 up. Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous, gorgeous. Thank you.
You're welcome. And there's a
That's,
story to this cover,
yeah.
Karen. The story
You,
is those shoes that she's wearing. There's a reference in at his funeral. She wears these very inappropriate funeral shoes for your husband's funeral. She wears these really cool open-toed stilettos to the funeral because those were his favorite shoes that she had. So
oh,
she said, you know what? I know that people are going to talk and whatever, but I'm wearing what he likes.
that's very, very good. My
So
husband loves me
it's
in
very
heels.
different, right?
Yep.
So it's
But I'm
very
an old
different.
woman. So wearing heels, I can't, so I can only wear them. I call them 1 hour shoes.
You know,
Like
and
I
I
can do
know
this for an hour.
we're not older. We're just better. I get that. I get that. We're not older. We're just better. But yeah,
So as you think about what has influenced you as a writer, not just as a fiction writer, but as a nonfiction writer, as a memorist, what
you
is
know,
there was there an author or a book that had a big impact on you?
I don't know that there was one. I ponder this often, and I don't know that there is like I can't say that there is one. I do know that different from you similar to you. I've been writing just short stories and whatever since as far back as I can remember. I even would write stories at the holidays for my family and just send them a story as a gift. Just make a little story that I would write at just a couple pages and send it out. So I've always enjoyed writing. Um, the common famous, the now my brain is slipping me, but Steinbeck, Lee, Edgar Allan Poe, Peck, all those people who were famous literary figures, right? Their stories didn't resonate with the stories I want to write, with the stories I want to hear, with the stories that look like maybe my life could look. No knocks against them, but it just wasn't relatable. Then you have, I love the Toni Morrison, I love that Maya Angelou, I love the Terry McMillan, I like everybody. I like what's her name? She used to write Only Female, The Master of the Game, Danielle Steele. I like the guy who does Jack Ryan. I can't think of his name right now. Tom Clancy. I like everybody. Some of my favorite books go way back, like The Mists of Avalon. Have you ever read that one? It's a
Yes,
sci-fi.
yes, Mr.
It's like
Babylon, yes.
way thick. I like those kind of books. I prefer pleasure reads now today. Um,
So do you have one that you might recommend to our audience that are recent?
I think A Widow and a Friend. Obviously, the title sounds heavy, but I think it's a very nice pleasure read. I really do. I also have what's called The South Side of Heaven, and it's only 40 pages. Um, and that's I think is a pleasure read as well because it's a nice little story that helps you be okay with people that in your past you've lost over time. It helps you be okay with all of that. Um, but it's done in a way that's a nice little story, and you don't even realize it until you've read it. And it's only 40 pages. And I wrote that sitting at the beach in Cabo San Lucas. Just had my iPad and I just wrote it. I was done because it had been in my head for a while, and I just wrote it.
You just wrote it. So now that you've gotten our audience all intrigued and they want to know more about you, how can they be in touch? How can they find you?
Thank you, Karen. I am terrible as a techie, so I have not kept up with the Instagram and the Facebook and all of that. I will update it, but for now, it's Stella Stella. There's more than one Stella Stella. I doubt the other ones have my hairdo, but uh, but my email is probably best for the moment. It's Stella Stella, and if you think of 1, 2, 3, only it's 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. So it's Stella Stella 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3 at gmail.com. That's really the best way.
Excellent. And you can find her books on Amazon. You can find them wherever you like to buy books, wherever you like to borrow books. If they don't have it, just ask them for it. They'll get on the computer and they'll see her there. And then also on Amazon, you can go to Stella's author page, and you can find out a little bit more about her very interesting life and about the other books that she and writings that she has out there.
Thank
So I want
you.
to thank you so much for coming and being with us. And I want to thank all of you who are listening and watching. So appreciate the fact that you come and you stay. And I love the messages you send. I hope that you will follow. Well, you can't follow Stella, because she's not keeping up with her social media. But
I
you can.
will. I promise I'll get to it, but yeah.
So now you have something to post on it. So, and so please be in touch with her and let her know that you met her on What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Have a wonderful, wonderful week, guys, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you. Bye bye.